And speaking of India, India's defence production is shattering records. Last year, India produced defence goods worth $15 billion, which is an all-time high, $15 billion. Defence exports have also increased by more than 30%, which is another record. India's push for indigenization in the defence sector is gaining traction. But New Delhi still has a long way to go towards achieving full self-sufficiency in defence. Our next report tells you more about the progress so far.
This is an AK-203 Kalashnikov assault rifle, one of the most premium guns in the market for arms. In 2021, New Delhi secured a deal with Moscow. It wanted to make this weapon in India. 3 years later, these guns are finally in the hands of the Indian Armed Forces. The Indian Army has received an initial lot of 35,000 rifles. They were made in a factory in Amethi, a district in India's northern state of Uttar Pradesh. India is the first foreign customer to produce the AK-203. The plan is to produce 70,000 guns in all. In the first phase, many of the parts for the gun were imported from Russia. But eventually, India will be producing this weapon with 100% localization. Such partnerships are the cornerstone of India's major push to ramp up its defence manufacturing. The approach is finally bearing fruit. In 2023, India achieved some major milestones in defence production. It produced military equipment worth well over $15 billion. This is the first time India has crossed this threshold. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi termed this development as encouraging. He's betting on an expanding defence ecosystem to boost India's self-reliance in defence. Traditionally, defence manufacturing in India has been dominated by public sector entities. But the government is slowly changing the shape of India's defence production. It is being opened to the private sector. By April 2023, the government has issued over 600 licenses to more than 350 companies. This includes big players like the Tata Group, Larsen & Toubro, the Mahindra Group and Bharat Forge. They are manufacturing sophisticated defence equipment like transport aircraft, artillery guns, rocket launchers, even radar systems. The private sector is being supported by an expanding defence ecosystem. As of last year, there are around 14,000 micro, small and medium enterprises or MSMEs and 329 startups which are engaged in defence production. About 50 Indian companies from the private sector are boosting India's defence exports as well. Made in India defence items like personal protective equipment, offshore patrol vessels, advanced light helicopters, avionics for fighter jets like the Sukhoi, as well as other communication equipment are finding takers around the world. There is demand for big-ticket items like the BrahMos missile as well. This year, India completed its first export order to the Philippines. Manila received its first batch of the supersonic cruise missile. The Philippines has bought a total of 3 batteries. New Delhi still depends on partners for many of the parts and tech transfer to ramp up its defence production. But India is swiftly finding a way to overcome this impediment.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.